it would ease other concerns. And so yes, a travel ban is placed, I mean, a travel ban may be placed on the countries that I've mentioned, on these African countries. But if we accept that we are going to take in persons that the U.S. wants to deport from people who are nationals of third world countries, and then the U.S. wants to deport them, if we decide that we are going to accept these people, they might, Trump might ease these restrictions. That is a very interesting part of the story. I've heard several people say that, look, this should actually fuel the African continent, countries on this continent to be better countries, rather than just get up and travel to the United States to see greener pastures. The pastures are green here. We have 60% of the world's, arable lands, and so if we decide that we would want to make our pastures green, it is very much possible. But I'll first take the thoughts of Dr. Seydou Fita on this matter. You have plans of going to the United States soon. You may want to do that before the next 60 days, because in 60 days time, if we do not meet these conditions from the United States, then it means that there may be a travel ban on Ghana.
Bless, good morning to you, and good morning to my auntie, and all our cherished viewers across the world, particularly those who are watching us from the northern region, my beloved Tolon constituency in the north. Blessed, I don't know whether I am allergic to traveling, but let me say that governments come to lead people, and before coming to power, they come with manifestos or promises to their citizens before they are elected to power. The media, I think, has the responsibility of correcting erroneous impressions in the minds of people, just so we don't hang Donald Trump to look as if he is someone who hates blacks or Africans. The ban list is not containing only Africans. You check, you see Asians are part of the ban list. And there are reasons why this ban is placed on those countries. Ghana currently is not banned, and the other 26 other countries. They are warned or cautioned. And if steps are not taken to rectify the problems for which reason they are warned, they are going to be banned. And banning foreigners from coming into America does not mean that they are deporting citizens from America. That is those who are already in those countries as citizens, because we have Ghanaians who are already citizens in America. We have Angolans or Cameroonians who are also citizens in America. But the issue is about violation of visas. For example, if you are an African and you take a visa to go to America for 4 years, bless. If your visa expires in 4 years and you are still living in America, you are an illegal citizen. He's sending warning to countries whose citizens come and overstay their visas, that if that does not stop, they are going to place a travel ban on those countries. Number two, people travel to America with fake documents. Donald Trump is sending signals to countries, including Ghana, whose citizens come into that country with fake documents to stop or streamline it properly. Other than that, the travel ban is going to be placed on them. And when he was campaigning to become president of America for the second time, he made promises, which included Americans. A lot of them are impoverished today because of cyber fraud. Africans who pose themselves as soldiers in Iran or other war-torn countries, faking themselves as men, dating women online and taking money from them and impoverishing these people. And it is the responsibility of a president of a state to protect your citizens. And at any length a president must go to protect your citizens, I am all for it. So Donald Trump is not deporting Africans or Ghanaians. He's not placing a ban on Africans or Ghanaians. He's placing a ban based on reasons. And countries that respect these reasons and restructure themselves, their citizens are going to be saved. And so I think that he is doing what is right, and Ghana must also start that. So a few weeks ago, I saw that the Interior Minister was, had cleared some illegal immigrants from our neighboring African countries, taking them back to their country. Does that mean Ghana is not friendly? Does that mean President John Dramani Mahama is placing a ban completely on those African countries? Their citizens are here, and those who are here legally or legitimately, nobody have the right to sack them or to push them out of the country. So this is not an issue that I think people should chastise Donald Trump or America about. This is something we must all come out to support him. We must all make sure these laws are applied in our country. When illegal immigrants are sent out, people shouldn't live beyond their visas. Okay? Especially with the issue of fraudulent internet fraud. You have young people who are defrauding these white people. And our country, we know. And sometimes those who are in this business, we see them as businessmen. Instead of people who are committing crimes. And there's a need we streamline properly so we can have good relationship with America and other countries that are suffering from this menace from us.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Auntie Oda has a different opinion from what Dr. Fita has posited. Of course I do.
So I'll have a problem by all means.
Yes, let's hear you.
You see, the issue of Donald Trump sending us this message that he's going to have a travel ban for Africans. Like you said, if we are willing to accept miscreants from maybe his end, then he will forgive us. Is that it? Why should we? America enjoys. First and foremost, I forgot to be. I'm so charged up about this issue. I forgot to greet my my viewers, my cherished fans out there, and I'd also want to extend my greetings to everyone, especially in Boko, and wish my overlord Naba Asigri Abgurago II a good morning. Naba na. Bless. America under Trump has made it look like America is a land of everything, gold. Everywhere you go, maybe it's fine, fantastic. Everybody living in America is being fed with honey. It's not true. It definitely is not true. There are some people who are suffering just like us. You understand? The only positive that comes out of this is the fact that I am hoping and wishing that Africans will take that challenge and improve the lives of their citizens. We share a lot of things when it comes to traveling to, let's say, America. As for illegal immigrants, he himself comes from that route. He came from Germany. His forefathers come from Germany. His wife was also an illegal, was an immigrant, so to speak. You understand?
Yeah.
America was built with people from different places. There are Irish people there, there are Germans there, there are Africans there, all manner of people. So as for immigration issues, we cannot sit and talk about immigration. Everybody feels like there is an opportunity somewhere, so let me go. So you have our doctors there, professionals. If he wants to send back anybody, he should be sending back our specialists, our professionals, the doctors, the nurses, the scientists, all those people that are being used in the US right now to make the lives of Americans better. He should send those people back to us. He should just wake up. If he really wants to help Africa, he should just wake up one day and say, all African professionals, all African specialists, all African education folks, go back. And we will open our gates to receive them, because we will expect that they will come back and make things better for us. You understand? There's cultural exchange. We go, we learn something. They come here, they learn things. Education. We don't go for free. It's not everybody who is going there under scholarship. People go there and pay. Nigerians, Indians, whatever, they pay. You know how much places like Harvard, Yale are going to lose when African students or foreign students get out of their universities? It's not play. There are African migrants who are in the farms. They are there doing legitimate work. At least they are not maybe out there stealing or creating all sorts of things. Africans are different from Latin Americans or those from the Central American enclave. Africans have their own way of doing things. Yes, cybercrime. Are we the only ones? Indians do it. Americans do it. Those kinds of criminal activities is not the preserve of only Africans. Everybody is privy. You cannot tell me that Americans do not cheat black Africans. Even within us, we are in this country and we sell our cocoa at a price that we need not sell it. True or false? We are underpaid. We are not being encouraged to even go out there and look after ourselves. So for me, I think that Trump is just calling our bluff. What is it? Our leaders are the ones that we have to blame for giving the President of America the opportunity to talk down on us. Because a lot of the times, because of visa, common visa to America, you know, just before the 2024 elections, when the American embassy and all the other people said that if anybody did anything untoward towards the peace and stability of this country, towards the election, that person was going to be denied visa. You see how the elections went? If they hadn't come out, you would have seen what would have happened, because we are so used to traveling. We want to go to America. We want to go to, so you have long queues. Everybody wants to go to Canada. Why? So you see a medical doctor going to do cleaning, but in your country you will say that, oh, it doesn't pay. Okay? It doesn't pay, so you will not stay back and do it. Stay back and fight the system to improve it, but not run away and go and do a menial job. For the rest of us who stay in this country, we stay in this country to fight for a better Ghana for everybody else. It's not like we can't also go somewhere. So for me, America is giving a challenge, throwing a challenge to African leaders. It is time for us to take the bull by the horns. It's time for us to start looking at how to improve the lives of our citizens, especially in education, in the medical field, maybe through trade, you know, and all that. We should have leaders. And I was happy when I think His Excellency John Mahama was asked a question about the effects of this whole American new structure. And he said, we will survive. We will have to find ways and means, especially coming at the time that he brought down UNESCO. And we felt Ghana was benefiting from UNESCO. A lot of development projects in educational things were happening under UNESCO. Mahama came and what did he do? He was able to bridge that gap. He found money to push it back in there so that those projects could still go on. Now, that is what we are expecting all African leaders to do. Don't throw your arms up in the air. Let's sit down. Let's strategize. Let's begin to see how we can use what we have to better the lot of our people and not let our young people think that Yankee is the only way to survive.
Do you not think that recent, I wouldn't call them tensions. Of course, there's been some tension between the United States and then South Africa in very recent times, and our president, you know, commented on this issue where he sided with Cyril Ramaphosa. He even went to the extent to say that Trump should not meddle in the affairs of other, you know, sovereign countries like South Africa. Do you think that this may have given some form of fuel or oxygen to this current decision that Trump is arriving at, or maybe arriving at?
The whole thing is that America doesn't want anybody to talk back. Trump doesn't want anyone to talk back at him. So anything that he says, you might just swallow it because you are seen as small fry. You understand? But we are a sovereign state. We have a right to support whoever we want to support. And it's not just Ramaphosa. It has to also do with Tuareg.
Yeah.
The fact that we are in bed with Tuareg, so to speak.
Yeah.
But Pan-Africanism is one thing we believe in. And we believe that as Africans, we have to stick together. We do not have to give anybody the opportunity to come and wedge, you know, any fights or any form of discrimination amongst us. What did Togo do? What did, I don't know if La Côte d'Ivoire is part of it, but those other smaller Haiti, them, what did they do? So it's just a question of wanting to play back that colonial mentality, you know, that we suffered from the 60s, where even Bedema could not even go into a place to have a drink. You understand? We are not going to accept that. We have gone long past those days. And I am urging all African leaders to stand firm. We are not accepting anybody but our professionals, our scientists, our doctors and nurses. If he is willing to bring those ones back to us because they are of no value to America, we will take them back. But we are not going to just open our doors for him to bring us anybody at all. We won't do that. You understand? At the end of it, what is it that we really go out there for? Education, trade, for a better living. And the better living, thank God, our currency is rising slowly. Let us build on that. Let us build on that. Let our leaders sit and strategize on just how to give. Look, who tells you that people living in America, some don't eat from the garbage? Who tells you that people living in America, some don't sleep on the streets? Who tells you that people living in America, they are not in debt? Who says that? And who tells you that there are no illiterates in America who do not get the opportunity to go to school? Who tells you that? All these things that happen in the third world happens in the US. You understand?
Right.
And if you're going to talk about the quality of life, even our villagers have better quality of life than some people who live in certain areas in America. It is just because we do not appreciate what we have. We don't appreciate all those things. And therefore, everybody gets up and the next thing is everybody wants a passport. Why are you going to Yankee? I'm telling you, at the end of the day, they go, they get those products, they come here, we buy them.
Right. Thank you very much, Auntie Rodelyn Ayana. It's going to be a long 4 years with Donald Trump at the helm of affairs in the United States.
So
we're going to be hearing more, more of these kind of stories. But Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is the North-Tongue Member of Parliament. He doubles as Ghana's foreign minister. He's come out to tell us that there are a number of steps that the Ghanaian embassy has taken to ensure the safety of Ghanaian nationals in Iran particularly. He's come out to tell us that so far there is no Ghanaian fatality or injuries. Also, evacuation from Iran is proceeding successfully. Ghana's embassy in Israel has identified 922 Ghanaians currently living in Israel. Included in that figure are 65 Ghanaian students studying in 6 Israeli universities. Channels for regular communications with the Ghanaian community in Israel have been established, with Israeli authorities declaring a state of emergency and closing all borders. An evacuation from Israel cannot be carried out now except with the express authorization of Israeli authorities. Ghana is pursuing those approval options. In a briefing by the Israeli foreign minister, all diplomats and embassy officials from all over the world have been encouraged to work from home. Our embassy is complying with that advice. We are ensuring that all Ghanaians living in Israel have access to bomb shelters. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has approved an emergency evacuation plan for Israel, which will be promptly activated when conditions are met. And then finally, President Mohammed's administration is resolved to spare no effort in ensuring that Ghanaians caught up in this Israeli-Iranian conflict are offered full protection and removed from danger. He ends it with, "We shall not fail our compatriots for God and country." Right, so this from Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who is the foreign minister. But we do know that there's been lots of tension between Iran and Israel. They've been exchanging missiles. The devastation has been enormous. I don't know about other people, but I wouldn't want to go to Israel for anything. Or I mean, Ghana is home.
Well, you can go on a visit.
Well, perhaps, but
if you are a Christian, you might want to go on pilgrimage.
Yes, well, perhaps.
Yeah, probably go to Bethlehem.
But clearly, these are very serious issues, and people have even said that this could degenerate into a third world war if, you know, these countries with interest in the fighting that's happening between Iran and Israel decide to wade in, the likes of the United States, France, you know, all these European countries, and then the US, if they decide to wade into this, it could really degenerate into something. We have taken a position as a country. We are neutral. Just resolve your issues. We are hoping that you resolve your issues, but we haven't taken a position, something that the Israeli ambassador has come to express his disappointment about. And I know the Socialist Movement of Ghana have issued a statement as well. They are unhappy with Israel trying to meddle, you know, in our affairs as an independent, you know, country. But these are a whole lot of issues, and there's also this conversation that it could also erode some of the gains that we have made over the last few months as far as the economy is concerned. Fuel, particularly, at the center of it. Do you share similar sentiments?
Well, first and foremost, this war between Israel and Iran, I guess it is something that, for those who have been watching the Middle East and Israel, it didn't come to me, for one, as a surprise. It was bound to happen. I'm happy that we have put in place at least some ways of getting our citizens out if need arises. I don't know how many Ghanaians are in Iran, but I do know that Iran has a lot of investments in this country. Looking at the scenario, I think that as it stands now, even though we might think it's far away, it's going to affect us in so many ways. We have a situation where fuel, for instance, our fuel comes from different places. So as to whether we are going to be getting fuel coming from Iran or somewhere close to Iran, because they've shut down their sea links, I'm told. Which means that if there are any ships coming on that stretch, even if it's not from Iran, it will affect us.
Yeah, that's about 60%
of all those things. Yes, comes
that route. Yeah,
comes around there. So that will definitely affect us. But I'm looking at a situation where we should be able to understand as Ghanaians that this is what is happening. There is a war on, and we must put in certain measures right now to slow down on the usage, even if it means hoarding the fuel for now, and finding ways and means of reaching out to Nigeria, which also I think we buy fuel from, to support us. But I was looking at pricing, and I think buying fuel from Tehran and the rest was about $73 a barrel. Nigeria was 77, which means that Nigeria is a bit more expensive. So if we are not able to make any savings through our gold for oil or whatever, we might have a problem there. But you see, bless, once again, we have to appeal to our leaders. There are certain things that we could do to cushion us a bit. We don't have to take up certain new infrastructure which we think will eat into our reserves. so that we can at least save something towards this war that we don't know when it's going to end. I know that when it comes to food, we are not food sufficient, and therefore that will also be another situation because we do a lot of importation. I remember during the Ukraine war, well, somewhere along, we were told that most of our wheat came from Ukraine. But then Nigeria was able to cut itself off by growing its own wheat. So if we are going to be a bread-eating country, we might as well start looking at those things. And since this government has decided to put a lot more emphasis on agriculture, I'm hoping that we will be food sufficient in some way. If for nothing at all, maybe our importation of food will improve as we go on. But you see, war in whatever form, in whichever part of the world, will definitely affect us. When you talk about the medications that we get, you know, medical supplies, we don't produce some of those things, and some of those things come from around the world. So if it affects any of them, it's going to affect us. And if you see where India, Poland, Czechoslovakia, all those places, and then you look at Iran, and then you think that they've closed a sea link, then we have to start being worried. Because even now, with the Ukraine-Russia war, certain medications are still even not in the system. You understand? And it's like looking for new avenues or new markets to get them from for the Ghanaian populace. So I am of the view that, one, we should try as much as possible to stay out of these two parties. We are not aligned. Yeah. Let's stay where we are. As for the Israeli ambassador talking, he must know that we are not. We don't align with Israel. For me, as a CPP, coming from a CPP background, I don't think that Israel should be expecting anything else from this country. And you must know also that this country is a secular state where we have Muslims and Christians, and some of us have conscience as to what is happening in the Gaza Strip and what's happening to the Palestinians, and we will not be telling ourselves to support Israel in any way, because the genocide that is happening in Gaza and Palestine, and now what is going to happen probably in Iran, we don't even know. You understand? So that is beside the point. So looking at the way things are now, I think that our government should start setting up, letting us know whether we'll have any situation like food shortages, drugs. Those are the most important things. And then also making sure our citizens are safe. I am a bit scared when it comes to Israel, because I don't know if Ghanaians, or Africans for that matter, will be able to go into bunkers. I don't know. I know that bunkers are for the Israelis. And I'm saying this because during the Ukraine-Russia war, we saw how Africans were being stopped from joining buses, you know, and trains to leave the war zone. We are counting on the state of Israel to make sure that Ghanaians or Africans are safe and that they will be well taken care of. When we come to Iran, I am sure the neighboring countries are safe enough for them to go to as diplomats and also as non-indigents of Iran. They are not part of the fight. But I think that Ghana has also enjoyed some support from both sides. That's from the Israeli side and from the Iranian side. And therefore, we should find ways of mediating, you know, being part of the mediation and not flare up the fights, you know, and not take sides. For me, that is most important. Yeah.
Right.
We shouldn't take sides.
Right. Thank you very much. Saka, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, please.
I hope all is well.
Saka, you came late to come and disorganize my thoughts.
I thought you presented
there you were now coming and listening, and I have to be thinking, who is this who is coming to disorganize my thoughts?
It wasn't disorganized. What you did wasn't disorganized.
Well, right. Let's proceed. We still have two more topics to to look at aside this one that we are currently discussing. So let me quickly proceed to Dr. Feta, who I'm sure has taken cognizance of happenings in Iran and Israel. Your thoughts?
This is the first time I am going to make a public, comment on the war between Israel and Iran. I've always asked myself a question. If today, for example, I take Coke and I complain Coke is bitter in my mouth. Coca-Cola, I mean. Oh, okay, not cocaine. And if I take Fanta and I complain Fanta is bitter in my mouth, then the next day I take malt and it is bitter in my mouth, then it means I have a problem and not the beverages.
So your taste buds are not working.
It is my taste buds and not the beverages. Why is it always Israel and other countries? Basic question. Why is it blessed all the time? Tomorrow blessed against Saka. The next day blessed against Auntie. A day after blessed against Sedu. Why always blessed? And not Sedu against another person? And let's put it in proper perspective. This is not a religious war. For the facts, majority of the people in Israel are Jewish.
There are more Muslims than Christians, actually.
Iran has more Christians than Israel.
Yeah,
there are more Muslims in Israel than Christians.
fact.
According to CBS, we have over 18% of Muslims in Israel and 1.9 Christians in Israel. So we have more Muslims in Israel than Christians. And we have more Christians in Iran. So Israel is bombing Iran, Iran is bombing Israel, but it is not Muslims against Christians. If Christians are going to bear the consequences of the war more, it will be Christians in Iran, because they have more Christians. Right? Who started the bombing? The world must stand up to the truth.
Israel.
Who started the war? Who is trying to show power? It's political. Yesterday it was Palestine. We are still struggling, praying, sending money, donating to Israel for children to survive. Malnutrition, cutting off water to Palestine, Yemen, count the nations. And all the time, it is the same person who is fighting against countries and even describing them as warmongers and describing himself as a civilized person. Civilized people don't go to war unnecessarily. They don't. So the world must stand up. Don't blame, for example, bless you slap me. I don't complain. You slap Saka. No complaints. You slap Auntie. The next one we are responding and the world is saying we should come and smoke a piece. They must start talking to you to understand that you are always the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, Ghana is not aligned, but Ghana can be truthful. Ghana can be straightforward and come out to tell someone that you are wrong. It cannot be you all the time against others. What at all are you not getting right? Mama talked about bunkers. Just last night, Israelis were preventing all other nationals from using their bunkers.
See what I said?
Last night, that's what's happening.
I was looking out for black faces in the bunkers, really.
So I was thinking that if we are even closing our embassy in Iran, we must close it in Israel and find ways and means to evacuate our citizens from that country. Now, Israel is using American citizens as a game or a gamble because they won't allow them to leave. So because America wouldn't want to lose their citizens, it will force America to come and join them against Iran. This is not acceptable. We must be honest at the point and call the bullet and bite the bullet at once. Someone is doing something wrong. And look, if Third World War, may God forbid, breaks out, we are all going to bear the consequences of it. Just look at Ukraine, Russia. It was not close to Ghana, but we are still managing the bruises of Russia and Ukraine. And in fact, that contributed even heavily or partly to even the defeat of the NPP. But don't even look at the political aspect. It drained us financially as citizens because cost of living went high. So one country in the world cannot even hold the whole world into ransom, and nobody's speaking. Nobody has the conscience to tell Israel that, look, you must stop at this point. You must. I am ignorant about the relationship between Israel and Ghana. But I said, not now. I know. When tractors came to northern region for the first time to farm for poor farmers for free, it was Iran that brought it. It's not religious. And in fact, even the Muslims in Israel are the Sunnis. So even if there's going to be any religious war, it will be the Sunnis in Israel against the Shias in Iran. So this is not Christian-Muslim war. It is about someone who wants to control the world with less power. And you see, unfortunately, for the leadership of Israel, Iran is not Palestine.
It's not, definitely not.
It is not Palestine. They also possess sophisticated weapons. You fight them, they fight back. And there's no winner in wars. We have innocent people in Israel who do not like the action of their leader. Innocent people are dying. The president will know how to sneak out of the country at all costs. But poor and innocent citizens of that country are dying. The number of orphans are rising. People are going to lose their jobs. Innocent people are going to, in fact, we are only giving hopes to our citizens that no Ghanaian has been attacked or no Ghanaian has fallen in the war between Iran. We can't say it definitely. We can't, because the citizens are littered all over the country.
Yeah.
You don't have a proper data to tell whether a Ghanaian already has lost a life in Iran or Israel. You can't tell. We are just doing politics. So we must be honest. Israel must stop. The world is not about wars to show power. No. You don't need to go to war to show your power. When was the last time did America go to war? Even when America goes to war, they bear the consequences because they treat so many bruises. American citizens are littered all over the world. So Israel must stop. The leadership of Israel, not the citizens. Iranians, not all Iranians are for war. But you see, a leader can only be described as weak when you are attacked and you sit idle and act as if you are not a leader or a citizen or a human being who can fight back. And when people come to, call for peace, do not let us put these two countries together and say, stop the war. Tell Israel to stop attacking, and Iran will also stop responding. But this is a lesson for Ghana or other African countries. We must start to learn how, like my auntie mentioned earlier, to feed ourselves. Are we prepared after the Russia-Ukraine war? Are we prepared to stand the shocks of the war? Are we prepared as a country? Because, so a few days ago, when His Excellency the President visited Savannah region, I heard him comment about how it may affect us when it comes to the crude oil we receive from Iran. We need to adequately prepare our shocks for these wars because it probably may not stop till the end of the world. But I think the big countries in the world should come out to talk to Israel. It's not about wars. Even aid that is supposed to go to Palestine, Israel is still stopping it. And children are dying daily. No food, no water, no medicine. In fact, even in war, I don't know much about wars, but I have read a bit around it. And I have gotten the education that in war, you allow, food to come in, humanitarian services to come in. And you don't even target hospitals.
Yeah.
But Israel, the first target was hospitals in Palestine. Let's be honest and call the leadership of Israel out. What he's doing is not right. And the world must condemn it. He must stop it. Other than that, he must become an enemy to the whole world. Why should someone pamper, this man who fights everyone? from 2001 till date, we are always talking about Israel and other countries. Why is it not America and another country? So this is time for us to also prepare ourselves as a country. And you see, when I read Honorable Ablakwe's on his page on Facebook, when he stated that they have closed, the embassy at, Iran, and they are reducing their services in Israel, I thought that we could just close, all of that completely.
I don't think they have an embassy. It's a consulate or something.
Right.
In Israel?
So evacuation should be done for all citizens.
That is not possible unless
because Israel is blocking again.
Yes.
Yes, unless the Israeli
authorities.
So why are they holding them down again?
There's segregation there.
Yeah.
There's segregation. They are one side and the Africans and the others
right.
on the other side.
Yeah.
You don't even go to their schools. You can't even open a bank account. You can't do nothing.
So how do they become friends to other countries?
So the Israeli ambassador should not even be talking to us that way, because our people who are working in Israel cannot even do a lot of those things.
Even the foreign citizens they were even talking were Chinese.
Yeah.
So I was imagining if Chinese are not even allowed to their bunkers, how much more Africans?
How much more Blackies?
So we are seeing like ants
living in shanty areas, eh?
So the world should come out. They must condemn the leadership of Israel. This is not a religious war. It is not completely.
It's not.
There are more Christians even in Iran. So even if Muslims and Christians are going to support, we'll all be supporting Iran. But we have more Christians in Iran, and we have less Christians in Israel. We must face it. It's politics.
It's the illiteracy when it comes to religion.
Yes.
Our people.
And people have realized that. Naturally, Africans or the world is becoming too religious. That, for example, even if your pastor or imam is guilty of something, you come out to defend because you are too religious. You lose your senses immediately. Religion comes in.
I think it's a West African thing.
Yes, and it must change.
When it comes to it, because I don't think Israel is fighting Tehran with that in mind.
No,
it's a West African thing.
It is politics.
Where they don't understand.
It is politics. So I think the world must come out to call Israel to order. They should stop. And even the Prime Minister of Iran, I read him last night when he said, look, we are not out to fight anyone. We didn't start the war, but we are not fighting. We are responding to Israel. And immediately Israel stops, we are also stopping.
And they have the right to defend themselves.
They have the right to defend themselves.
Well, interesting. Saka.
Yeah.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to my sister, my brother, and you. You are not my relative. I'm highly impressed with Dr. Sheidu's submission. My sister too, I'm happy. But you see, I think that we have over-pampered Israel. But even before I get there, when I saw Ghana embassy in Tehran closed down due to security concerns, and that it was Ablakwa who did that, I just laugh, Because not long ago, we saw the Ghana embassy in the U.S., Washington, closed down for frivolous reasons. These are cogent reasons why sometimes you close down embassies, not those frivolous ones. So it makes this one, the importance of this one diluted. Because it's like, it's a normal thing for a blocker to close down embassies. But this one, there's a good reason for that. And I would have also wished that if there's a fight, and then you think your citizens are undergoing some level of danger in both countries, because the missiles are coming, fast and fast everywhere, and then you think that we are doing some arrangement in Israel. What is that? That in itself is telling you that we more or less are not, we don't have stronghold on the situation or even the decision that we have taken. So I would have wished that we have closed down our embassies in both countries, or our diplomatic arrangement with both countries, and we are doing an arrangement to ensure that we evacuate them. That's all. Don't come and tell us that we have evacuated, we have closed down in Tarin, and then the Israelis, when you don't even let us know what is happening.
Oh,
that tells you.
He let us know. I read it. I don't know if you.
So what did he say?
No. So for the Israeli one, we unfortunately can't evacuate the Ghanaians over there, because without the Israeli authorities' approval, that is impossible. We have. He came.
So you mean that the Israelis are very adamant, they don't want to do at their approval? No. So that tells you the intolerable level of even. I mean, how is it? How is it that Iran authorities give the go-ahead, and the Israeli authorities are adamant? That tells you something. You see, we've over-pampered them. We've sat down and created a monster. And it looks like, oh, Israel is so powerful, Israel is so powerful. Israel is not powerful. Iran can finish them. I'm telling you, Iran can finish them. You see, the reason why we are in this situation, where every now and then, Israel is becoming powerful, is becoming intolerable, is stretching their muscles and creating the impression that they can cow everybody into submission, is because of the United States of America. These are the biggest hypocrites in the world, because the hand of the big brother is on them.
Saka, you will not be going to America anytime soon.
I don't want to go there, because I've never even dreamt of going to America.
That's why I was
No, I don't want to go there. I don't ever want to even be there. You see, I'm saying that if they look, Israel is a pathetic state. But that doesn't mean that even where they are, I mean, it doesn't belong to them. They went and acquired it through some means, and therefore want to continue to subjugate the people, and then put the fear of God in them at all time, so that they'll cow for them. If not, we've had a lot of agreements in the past where it was said, I mean, it was agreed that let's gradually ensure that Palestine and Israel live side by side. I mean, everybody will have his own states, and then we all move and live together.
It's a must.
We have lived together. Israel says no. The 1985 agreement, where Israel was to, gradually evacuate, gradually remove their internal security, and then allow, and even move their external security, and allow, the Palestinians to govern themselves. How can I be like that? For instance, you are in Ghana here, and then Burkina Faso troops are the ones who are the police, who ensure that you cannot go out without their permission. You cannot do A, B, C, and D. I mean, how? And this thing has persisted for years. From the 1967, when they were allowed to get there, to occupy those states. And the U.S. has always supported them, either with money, both with money and ammunition. And then they can do any and everything. Look at what happened in October 2023. It was 2023, yes, yeah, October 2023, yeah. Where this group actually went and threw bomb or take some people hostage and all those. Everybody condemned what they did. Hamas. Everybody condemned what they did. But everybody also knows that Hamas was doing that in retaliation of what has been going on and all that. But look at the response of Israel. Look at the response. It was an overkill. Killing with reckless abandon and calling human beings ants. Calling human beings all sorts of names and treating them with clear disregard for human life. Go anywhere, I mean hospitals, wherever, they were killing people and all of that. And then America was looking and askance. So why wouldn't they have the effrontery to go and then bomb Iran? Because they know Iran is a threat. Because Iran is also a nuclear state. And Iran can do anything. And for that matter, let us go and then test and see, or destroy Iran nuclear powers. Who dare you do that? Who has come to Israel to destroy their nuclear powers? And then because they have done all these things to the Palestinians, they think they can extend it. And it is also, apart from the United States being one of the biggest hypocrites in the world, the Arab nations are also very hypocritical. A lot of the Arab nations, to be honest with you, I mean, their behavior leaves much to be desired, including Saudi Arabia. They don't support at all. They as if Israel is a friend to them. Oh, let's have an agreement. Look at Egypt and all those people. If all these people have shown their teeth and, you know, show their displeasure and disquiet, Israel will stop what they are doing. But all these countries that I'm talking to you about, all of them are quiet. And if you are quiet, even sometimes subtle support of what Israel is doing. Because the Israelis are very clever, because they know that if they don't divide these Arab nations, they cannot continue to, you know, achieve their objectives. So therefore, they have to do all these things. Look at Saudi Arabia, one of the richest countries in the world. And you allow these people, Americans, to be the people that give you security. As if they are, America do not have permanent friend. I mean, it's because of your money. Now, instead of putting their money in useful areas, they are now putting it in football. I mean, that is crazy. And people and Palestinians are crying, and, you know, for survival. Look, there has to be time. I mean, there's an end to everything. There must be an end to litigation. The never-ending cycle of retribution, of fighting and, you know, endless and useless and senseless war on the part of the Israelis must stop. You have been given a place to stay. And then you want to now, look, they even intended moving, was it Gaza? I mean, the inhabitants, they intended moving them away.
But that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Occupying.
Yeah, I mean, pushing the occupation from one area to the other, one area to the other.
And the worst one was Trump coming to say he wanted to acquire Gaza Strip.
Yeah, I mean, that's nonsense.
Another.
You see, I mean, this guy has been,
so there are two of the kinds.
Incendiary anytime he speaks, and his way of doing things is reverberating throughout the world. I mean, in a negative manner. They are the people behind all these things, and they think that by doing this to Palestine, it is by extension to the Islamic State. But that is not. This is humanity. This is humanity. They are only inviting hate to the Americans. As for Israel, they don't care. I mean, we have seen what all of us condemn what happened in Holocaust. I mean, the Nazis inordinate desire to ensure that they estimate, you know, them from the face of the world.
Maybe Hitler knew something.
You get the point. You get the point. Yeah. We all condemn it.
What's like?
But today, look at it.
That's also something that we didn't.
Look at it. The victim is now becoming the perpetrator of the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
When it comes to genocide and then massacre and the crimes against humanity.
Because.
And it is about time the world in unison condemn, you know, Israel in no uncertain terms. Not just condemnation by word of mouth, because by word of mouth we have seen condemnation in the past and it yielded nothing.
Yeah.
Let's ensure that we bring lasting peace. And the repercussion of all that, I mean, this senseless thing that they went and look at, the repercussion is what is affecting all of us. You know, the imminent or the potential danger when it comes to fuel, supply of fuel to countries that need them. Because we cannot do without fuel. We cannot do that energy. Because where the world has reached, I mean, what happened elsewhere, I mean, is a problem of everybody. That is the reason why when this Ukraine-Russia war thing started and we were talking, because we were in the political season people say, oh, NPP,
we were going to bring that.
NPP were talking about
Finish, and I'll give him that.
You get the point. And what happened, even the COVID and all that. I mean, well, no. Remember what in the Middle East, some time ago, when they have financial crunch and all those things in 2015. Your mama went to the State of the Nation's address and actually explained that it is because of what is happening in China that had a rippling effect in our economy and all that. So it has always been like that. It is because in Africa and for that matter Ghana, we have vulnerabilities when it comes to our fundamentals. Our fundamentals are always wobbling. They are very weak. So whenever that happens elsewhere, we crumble.
Yeah.
You understand? So it is not peculiar to only particular regime. It is, I mean, our fundamentals have always been weak and all those things. So I think that what is happening is an eye-opener. Now everybody knows that whatever that happens anywhere can affect
could affect us,
another. And therefore, sometimes, even when we are doing politics, we should be a little bit sensible. You get a point?
Not a little bit. You must just be sensible.
But you see, but in political season, like what John Mama said the other time.
People use it for political.
Say, I mean, whatever that you think you can see, you throw it out there. And then the gullible people are just there to consume.
I'm sure he was just responding.
We have to be honest with ourselves when we are doing it. And we must have conscience when we are dealing with the state issues.
Yeah, because me, I sitting here, it will be hypocritical on my part to say that, oh, this war, this Iran war will not affect them.
Yeah.
It will affect us, definitely.
Definitely.
But you see, I mean, some people in the past say, but I mean, we pass there. But in order not to continue the repetition of some of these things by Israel, because they have been the destabilization factor in the world for a very long time. And if we don't need their activities in the bad, one day it will consume us by bringing third world war, and I don't think that we are ready for it.
Yeah.
Bless.
Yep.
I want to just say something.
In response to Saka?
Well, not really response as such, but partly to Saka. You see, Saka, the problem that we are having in this country is the corruption. If you listen to the amount of monies that have gone into private, allegedly gone into private hands, and I'm not talking about just the recent. It's been going on and on and on from independence till date. If we had managed our resources well, we wouldn't be where we are. If our leaders had some conscience, they had some form of nationalism, patriotism, to make sure that every little thing that we gave to them, they used it prudently, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be sitting here and importing food. We wouldn't be sitting here and Tor is there and we cannot refine our own fuels. We would not be sitting here and have an atomic energy commission dismantled and sold in bits and pieces. And today we are trying so hard to put it back. We wouldn't be sitting here where our finance minister is in a very expensive hospital getting prostate treatment, cancer treatment, when Kolebu is almost down to nothing, when our doctors cannot get basic equipment to work with. All of it, bad governance and the corruption. So if all of us agree and accept that this country is all that we have, and all these wars that are happening around us, and it's opening out all the bad things that can happen to us, just because some few of us will sit and mismanage the resources that God has given us, then it's about time we collectively, young and old, tell our leaders that no more of killing us with your greed, to take what we have been given wholeheartedly by God for all of us to enjoy, to go and keep in offshore accounts and to put it into concrete. Today, when we are talking about agriculture, you will not get any arable land anywhere. It's all concrete because people have been so greedy. So you go to Tamale, you go to where, and the land has turned to concrete. Where are we going to grow the food? We shouldn't even be thinking about where we are going to get fuel, which is supposed to help us out. You understand?
But I disagree that we don't have arable land.
No,
the arable land that we have is inexhaustible for the next 1,000 years.
You see, that's the thinking. When Kwame was going to build...
you don't expect Ghana to stand still where you do backyard farming, you just walk and then... No.
A question of backyard farming. You know what kind of land was in...
yeah, of course, that is development.
What is development?
No, that is
you
development.
must use sense. No. You see the difference between... Let me finish. When
there's no housing deficit. There is no housing.
The misuse of land.
Real terms of deficit. There's no housing deficit.
No, we have housing deficit.
There's none.
But 2.5%.
You even have houses that
the
are even
ability to acquire those houses.
Practically, there's no housing deficit in Ghana.
It is the fact that we are not making
prudent use of land.
Exactly, we are not making efficient use of it. Of course, we have arable lands plenty, but we are not making efficient use of it.
Look at Accra Plains. You know what? Accra Plains, just around here.
But we are losing.
Go through Accra Plains. That was where we would get our okra, our vegetables like garden eggs and all those things. Today, I keep saying, I feel sorry for the Ghana indigents. Because you cannot even get the okra. Now we sometimes buy okra 1 for 1 cedi. You know why? Because Accra Plains has become concrete.
Right. But that is good.
It is bad.
That is a sign of development. You see?
What kind of development?
Listen. You don't expect.
Who uses arable land for that?
You have to continue moving.
Moving where?
So you go to the US. You see how they are. The number of people that engage in farming, the number of people that engage in farming are small. But you see, what
large-scale farming?
What one farmer can do is like about 20,000. That is the work of 20,000 people. So you don't expect after 30 or 40 years that the Accra Plains that used to be there should be there like that, and then we will not be extending development to those areas.
Other countries, that's so.
It will end up being the middle of a town.
What makes it a middle of a town? It was not in town until when they started developing around it.
For instance, you acquire a 1 acre plot of land, and then you are putting up a structure. I mean, when you go to other jurisdictions, you see high-rise buildings that can contain several hundreds of people. You understand? But for us, one plot, some small house, we move, and
that's what the Accra redevelopment plan was for in 1989, when the plan came. 1989. You see you go to Cantonment and other places, you see, one house standing there, and then the land plenty, that kind of house about 10 other houses. That's exactly what you are talking about. But it was introduced by Rawlings regime. Yeah, I mean, it's another thing. It's another thing.
The redevelopment was meant for rich people. It wasn't meant for the ordinary Ghanaian, the poor civil servant, the teacher, the nurse. It wasn't meant for them. That's the whole thing. And why should we have leaders that only think about themselves?
Okay, we can talk about that.
Why should we do that?
We can talk about that. If you go to Libya, for instance, okay, if you go to Libya, they build houses. I've not been to Libya, but I've read. I mean, nobody should misconstrue that. I'm a Libya blogger. You see, they build houses and then put them down. Whether or not people are occupying, it doesn't matter. It's for the next generation and all that. So when you are at age and you complete university or whatever, they give you your house to go and occupy. So I agree with you that some of these houses should also take care of the poor. But you see, when we come out with plans, the plan is either for the middle class
or for the rich.
And in most cases, even the middle class is bypassed.
Because at the end of the day, you say it's SNIT. Even SNIT contributions that are being done by workers. They build houses, and it's out of the reach of ordinary workers.
Yeah.
And then
they build houses and I mean, the ordinary worker cannot afford.
And then a rich man can buy 20 flats.
You see the airport areas. You see the high. Nobody is living there.
Oh yeah, that is true.
They are empty houses. If you go to it's meant for the rich.
If you go to West Hills, just at the back of West Hills, there's some nice estates they've built over there.
Who's going to be able to afford it?
That is why I said
it is empty. It has been empty for like the past 6-7 years.
Even the village.
Why are we doing
There's no
that?
housing deficit.
So what is happening is that you work in a car and your driver, the one who's supposed to be driving you, is living somewhere far away in Kaswa.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not right. You see, and all of it is because we are afraid to speak to leadership.
Yeah.
We should be able to tell them in their face that we cannot afford to have you sitting in parliament and then when snitch houses are done, you take one for yourself. And you shouldn't do that.
Even one, they take like 5.
You shouldn't do that. Like and I am advocating that we have houses for parliamentarians just like they had before.
Of everything. When voice of conscience is talking, we associate that person with politics, and therefore whatever the person says, we throw it into the dustbin.
This is
but you see, sometimes we have to look at, listen to the message and not the messenger. A lot of people are quiet in today's Ghana, not because they want to be quiet, but because they don't want to be branded.
Why should we be worried, Bless, that we might not have fuel? When we have a Tello here, we have so many oil fields. Why is it that we cannot refine our own oils? And somebody educated me on Tor and I got so angry. I just said, what is it? Is it always about individuals making it?
Yeah, because the reason is that Tor has these tanks that they use, they rent them. Because so if they start to produce or to refine, they're not going to make an individual suffer.
Yes, the individuals, and why should it be the individuals?
And that is exactly what boss stations are doing.
And boss, so why?
Boss is supposed to be a strategic, to store our strategic reserves, in case like.
And like what is going to happen, maybe.
Distance, so that they will come in handy.
We have
but
to.
They are also doing the retail thing. That everybody else.
All hands on deck. We have to fight the corruption.
I'll do some messages. I've received quite a number of them. This one here says, Saka, every district is supposed to have farmlands. Go and find out from the Agric Ministry. Baba from Sanarigo in Tamale sent this one. Thank you, Baba, for your message. Good morning to you and your panelist. Saka says, what? Converting arable lands to estates is development. My goodness, I'm even more disappointed knowing he comes from in his home region of Upper West. There are vast stretches of empty land. He sees agriculturally suitable. It's all plenty. He should stop the misinformation. Okay, Baba. I don't know. Baba from Mashalebuchi sent this one. Thank you, Baba, for your message. Hey, that's for this one. I don't know if the person is praising you or insulting you. He said today you have made a very reasonable submission. He said it's my first time hearing Saka speak so well. It appears being in opposition is good for him. David from Teshi sent this one. Thank you, David. Good morning, host. Let a man condemning Israel and Mukuje to stop throwing dust into our eyes with his MPP propaganda and lies. Because of security reasons, Israel is not allowing evacuation for the meantime if he's not aware. Secondly, Iran cannot come nowhere near Israel in terms of military fight. Iran is just relying on Russia and Chinese.
Oh, please. It's a lie.
It's a
lie. Israel is not lying.
Of course. Good morning, Pan-African TV. My opinion is that the fact that those countries surrounding Israel are always building dangerous weapons targeting to destroy and eliminate Israel on the earth, the Israelites have no option than to defend their sovereignty. You see, I also think that we have to be friendly with them. That's all. I also think that we have this mentality of Israel is God's country. They say it is God's nation. Nobody can. It's just sort of warped. People ignorantly support them based on this logic. Yeah. people, many people ignorantly support them on.
Yeah, it's
Israel
not a
Israel is God's country. And
these are ungrateful people. When else is even saying that?
Salifu Mudasiru says, good morning to you all watching you live from Italy. Please extend my regards to Dr. Seidu. And Danny Habiba says, Madam Roslyn has said it all. Great submissions, too much corruption is killing us. We need patriotic leaders to help us utilize our natural resources because Allah has blessed our country a lot. Isaac Amwa says, Massa, control your panelists. All right. Well, I don't know what they are doing wrongly.
It's not meant for you.
Shahadu Mahadi says, monitoring live from Toulon. Special greetings to Dr. Seyed Fita for the excellent and eloquent deliveries on the topics of discussion. We are so proud of you, all right? Kingston Bisnab Asimega says, Madam Roslyn is always on point. Good morning to you, Koko, and your panelists. Trump will not remain in power forever, and moreover, does Trump realize the incomes that his country is making from these countries in terms of visa application is so much? Aaron Baby Sukura sent this one. Abdul Rahman says, great presentation from leader Dr. Seyed Fita, just as usual. Kudos to him. All right, thank you for your message. I'll read this final one. No one is told to see tomorrow. It's only by God's grace to be alive today. I've been telling Saka and his MPP government to consider the actions and inactions, but they refused because they were power drunk. Today they are in opposition, making unnecessary and irrelevant noises. James K. Saba sent this one. Thank you, James, for your message. We'll proceed to our next topic for conversation. Global credit rating agency Fitch Ratings has upgraded Ghana's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating to B- from restricted default, citing significant progress in restructuring external commercial debt. The outlook for the country has been rated as stable by the international agency. The latest upgrade follows the government's successful restructuring of some $13.1 billion in Eurobond debt in October 2024. According to Fitch's commentary published on its website on Monday, June 16, 2025, Ghana has now normalized relations with the vast majority of its external commercial creditors. However, approximately $2.6 billion of external debt remains to be restructured. It goes on to say that additionally, Fitch estimates that $700 million of this is commercial debt, equivalent to just 5% of the total initially targeted for restructuring. Right, Saka. Yeah. What does the NPP make of the gains that we are making as a country? And what I'll say would be the early days of this new administration. A few months ago, we were rated junk. We have been able to come out of that. B-.
Were rated junk by who? Well, we're talking about Fish here.
Yeah, by these agencies.
No, but this Fish.
Yes.
Yeah, so Fish never rated us too.
So who rated as junk?
I think Standard and Poor.
Okay, but we've been relying on all these rating agencies.
It is not for any reason that we went to IMF. We went to IMF to ensure that we get credit, and to also ensure that we have that credibility that it comes with, you know, policy credibility. And if you look at what Fish is saying that they have rated us B. Positive outlook, Yeah. Positive outlook as a result of the restructuring that we have done. We've been able to, and the restructuring was done by the MPP government. The fact of the matter is that the problem started with the MPP government, especially after COVID, where our finances were finding it very difficult to balance, you know, our finances, as a result of the fact that we were closed from the bond market and all that. So therefore, in order to re-establish good relationship with our creditors, and especially, you know, the the bond, our credits, let me just generally, our general creditors, including the, the commercial ones, we went to the IMF. And then as part of the process, we had to restructure those debts and all that. So we even seek some of them to extend the period of the debt the period where we had to do the repayment. Some of them actually even had to do haircuts. Some of them, ensure that they reduce the debt for us so that we will be able to pay when the time is due. Some of them even forgave us part of the debt because there were agreements. And then the finance minister and then some technocrats from Ghana actually went to Washington to meet with them. And there was successful agreement where about 4 billion or so was reduced and all that. So in the end, we are now bearing the fruit. We are now bearing the fruit of all the work that was done. And what you read actually said it. It's not that I am the one saying. What you read said that we have moved to this positive outlook as a result of the restructuring that we have done, including all the benefit that comes with it. And that is how governance is. I don't think that it would have been good news if maybe a fish solution had come out to say that, you still remain C+ or whatever. Yeah, CCC or whatever. And that would have meant that we have not made progress. It would have meant that the MPP government did not put the right foundation. But we did all the right things. That culminated in all the good and positive things that we are seeing today. I think that needs commendation from everybody. You understand? And today, as we are speaking, we are not saying that this government, because this government have not yet done anything yet. They have not come out with any serious policy in terms of this debt restructuring or whatever. And even during the time of the MPP, we started paying like the debt restructuring that we did. We paid about 4 or so times, and then the new government came and also paid some. That is progress that we have made. Today, as we are speaking, by dint of these facts that we have been, upgraded, we can even go to the bond market because the people now have confidence in us. They know that things have near normality. We've come to where we can say they are normal, and therefore we will not be we won't default in our debt if they deal with us. That is all that we want, and everything is looking positive. It means that the work that was put in by the technocrats, by the MPP government led by both Ken Ofrata and Amin Anta is actually yielding dividends, and that all of us should be proud of. I didn't think that any one government can say that we are the reasons. The NDC government cannot say that they are the reason for this positive outlook. They will not even say that. But if you are in government and then the glory is coming, you want to embrace it for yourself and all that. But in reality, in truth, the right structures were put in place. We paddle it. This is the handiwork of actually both political parties, the MPP, and especially the MPP government. Handiwork is about 90% of this positive outlook that we're seeing. I'm not saying the NDC didn't contribute. Actually, they also contributed by dint of the fact that they are in government, and therefore can also bask in that glory. But really, they can only bask in that glory by by only crediting 10% of the success to them. This is not politics. This is a reality, and everybody knows that. But they didn't do the restructuring. And the people say that it is because of the successful restructuring that has led to this. And this restructuring was done in October. In October 2023 or so. So, it is so clear. We only pray that they continue from there so that we chop another upgrades maybe come next year, or even get another upgrade from either Moody or Standard & Poor. That will go a long way to enhance our image and therefore ensure that, I mean, look, the irony in this country is that people don't like to pay tax. You see that? Nobody likes to pay tax. You know, in West Africa, tax to GDP is hovering around 12% or so, 12%. One of the lowest, Ghana, one of the lowest. If we go to South Africa, it's over 25, over 25%. So they can even afford not to even go and borrow. Now you people don't pay tax. You say your government should not also borrow. Then where do you think they will get money from and all that? That's the reason why we in the past we over-relied on loans. We over-rely on loans to such extent that when getting loan is affected, it affects almost invariably everything. So today, if Ghanaians decide that okay, let's pay our tax, let's ensure we look inward. Every country now is looking inward. Look at America. Now they are sucking. They say you shouldn't even come there again. They are sucking everybody. Everybody's looking where you think that you go and then get free money, grant and all those. They said no. You create your own wealth. That's what is happening. And therefore, we should be able to look inward, ensure that we put things, proper policies in place, so that we can create wealth without necessarily going to the bond market or whatever to go and borrow. And when that door is shut on us, then we start fumbling. That, to me, would not be the best thing to do. But for now, I'm happy things are turning positive, and every Ghanaian should be happy about that.
Fitch has also said that they have noted that negotiations with our remaining creditors are ongoing, though they have assessed the risk of default or disruption, and they have seen that these risks of default are very low. They went on to say that the rating agency said the development further it reflects improved investor confidence and the government's commitment to restoring debt sustainability after the default triggered by macroeconomic shocks and fiscal pressure in recent years. Dr. Seydou-Fita.
You can see my brother Saka. He didn't know what to do, whether to praise or to say what. And it's only one thing, is to accept the fact.
I give 10%. Yeah, 10% is okay.
No, I saw a lot of contradiction in his comments. So I will come to that. I will come to that. When we talk about credit, extended credit facility, debt restructuring, every government does that. The NDC, President John Dramani Mahama, went for an extended credit facility in 2014. He went for 3 billion. And that became a problem for the MPP. And they described us in so many adjectives. Remember, in fact, the late Deputy Finance Minister stood up in Parliament and said the last resort for the MPP government was to go to IMF when they were pushing to pass the e-levy bill in Parliament.
Yeah.
One they aggressively did and even cut cakes to celebrate an e-levy, which they promised was going to be used to construct a lot of roads, create jobs, build schools, etc. At the end of the day, was used to run their campaigns. An audio which leaked that was purported to be coming from the honorable MPP parliamentary candidate, Madam Felicia, who accepted or agreed that the money was given to them to run their campaigns and win elections. The COVID money.
But are you talking about COVID or e-levy?
I mean, every other money that...
Yes, I mean, you had to see every other money. When you were talking about e-levy, all of a sudden you are COVID.
Should I continue?
Yeah, you continue.
Thank you.
But you should be consistent.
When you were talking, you were, I mean, it was full of double standards. I was quiet. I was quiet. Okay, so I was just noting it down.
So you also want to go down.
So be gentle, and I mean, at the end of the day, we all arrive at one place.
Okay.
We did extended credit facility. We took 3 billion under the NDC. Bless. And as at then, inflation was performing at 14%. Okay, the NPP chastised us, went and mounted platforms. I am happy today that Saka and the NPP can see over politicization in Ghana and sometimes being irresponsible in the messages they churn out to people, expecting them to vote for them. And did I hear Saka say they didn't default? In 2022, you defaulted in paying external debt.
No, we negotiated with them.
You defaulted. You defaulted.
We never defaulted.
Saka, you can read it.
We negotiated with our external creditors, and then they deferred payment to 2026.
So it means we defaulted.
You defaulted your payment.
No, that is
You are supposed to pay at a particular point in time. There's already an agreement in place. You are supposed
That's
to
not
pay
default.
at a particular point in time. And you didn't
Do you know what default
You
is?
defaulted.
No, do you know what
It was because you knew you wouldn't be able to pay. That's why I went to negotiate.
No. If you had met with the people and the people say that no matter what you say, give us our money. And then we say, okay, we can't get you your money. That's default. So it is taking to what a champion did by saying that that is what we call.
Why did you go?
But why the creditors themselves agree that okay, we agree with you based on this factors.
Why did you?
You cannot call that default.
Why did you go to agree? Why did you go to negotiate on payment again?
Because we know that,
because you failed.
No,
and that is
no, we never failed.
I don't know what Saka's definition of default is.
I don't understand also.
But please let him continue.
I don't understand also.
The definition. If you don't understand.
I don't understand.
It's okay.
You defaulted in paying in December 2022. Go back and read it. You defaulted clearly. And when you talk about you going to IMF and bringing money in, this is not the first time. And this is not the second time. I just reminded you, we also went for extended credit facility. We gave the power to you. You took us from 14% inflation to even 57%. You left at 23%.
We never went to 57.
Wow.
The highest we went was 54.
So
Saka, where you going?
Yeah, the highest we went was
Saka, where you going?
Yeah, I'm really shocked with you.
The plus 3 is so important.
No, but you cannot sit here and lie.
Continue.
Yeah, the highest we went was 54%.
So 54 and 57. Okay, we'll tell you.
I know, but why are you talking as if 57 and 54 is the same?
We'll do the 54.
It is not the same.
We'll do the 54, no problem. Doctor said, please.
No, you can check. You can check.
We'll do the 54.
Saka,
but by the way, in finance, a debt default occurs when a borrower fails to meet the agreed upon terms of payment, such as missing payments. That is what
bless our viewers.
But they agreed to be fair, so that is the agreed upon time.
Please continue, Dr.
Saka,
Peter.
just be gentle.
No, I'm gentle.
You are in opposition, so just relax yourself. No, yes, be gentle. Because see, it is this same attitude that took you to opposition. So be gentle.
Allow him, please. Allow him.
And the use of certain words, I think you can try to manage some of there. I think, you know, look, your best performance with the CD went up to 17 CD to $1.
Yeah.
After going to IMF, are you challenging that one also?
Our best performance.
You went to 17 cities.
Our worst performance.
Yes. That's your best. Because even at that time, that was when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was even going around with his lectures. And he was emphasizing that 17 CD to $1 was better than the performance of the NDC. Have you forgotten about that?
He told us
that means it was one of your best.
I do remember that.
Because if you are
I understand you from that context.
Because if you are not
I understand you from that context, but it wasn't the best.
Bless. It wasn't the best for the country, but for them.
How?
In their dictionary. Because he was defending it. In a lecture.
So because he was defending, that is our best.
Of course. You could have accepted that you failed. But you didn't want to accept it. For example, bless, if you go to school and your colleagues are coming home until with 100%, you are coming with 10% and you are defending it, means that's your best. Clearly. That is the best your performance can arrive you at. So now, the dollar to a CD is going at 10.27 to $1.
From 14.7.
From 14, but from 17 to 14.
We handed over 14.7, so
that's why
that should be the yardstick.
No, you should. No,
not
you don't.
Where we have ever reached.
No, there's no today without yesterday. How can you compare today to nothing?
Yeah, because we handed over when we were.
Because in this year January was around 15.
Yeah, but so this something.
Before you handed over to us.
I know was 50. I received
that was in
some
December.
remittance.
I'm saying that if
What handed over, it was around 15.
no, we handed over
42.5.
Go and check it.
No, it wasn't 42.7.
I mean, I've debated this thing everywhere. We've checked everywhere, and it is always 14.7. Please, go and answer anybody.
It wasn't 14.7. I'll show you.
I'm telling you, this is not the first
I'll
time.
show you evidence.
Show it. Show the evidence right now. Do not after. Let your producers do the check.
15.7.
Why? Who did?
Saka is debating everyone in this studio.
Including the studio audience. Including the studio audience.
You see,
can you proceed?
And,
but I know it was 15.
It is not true.
And bless, look, they will never accept that the Nana Addo Bawumia government was the sin of Ghanaian politics. Ever. Poor performance and arrogance. Clearly. Look, sometimes you can accept that something is wrong somewhere. And that is where the citizens will come along with you and understand that you need all hands on deck to fix the situation. But the moment you are failing and you are arrogant at that, that is where nobody will stand with you. And that is where you lead the country into a ditch. Within 5 months, and you can't say you have played a role in 90% of the work done. Look, Saka, we pay automatic taxes. We do. Every month I pay over 3,000 cedis income tax. I paid same to your government. You did nothing about that. You can't tell me people don't want to pay tax. We pay. And if I pay over 3,000, it is even much more than someone's salary.
So are you happy paying?
Oh, why won't I be happy to pay? Because I want to see schools.
Even in theory.
I want to see schools.
In theory, they tell us that nobody is paying tax.
Proudly, I do. I want to pay because I want to see schools.
You want to see development.
I want to see development. You were taking it and you were using it for political purposes. You were using it for wastages. And that's why I was telling you that practically, there is no housing deficit in this country. You have housing. For example, when Cecilia Dapa, OSP was going to her house, she thought they were going...
Please, I mean, don't do that. It's a lie.
Saka, please allow him. Whatever your decision.
It's a lie. This is the lie that they use to hoodwink the people to come to power. And they are continuing using them.
I believe you have a notebook there.
No, I don't have it.
No, you have a book in.
No, it's not.
Write in it. Write your consents in it.
Bless.
After that, I'll give you the time to.
Bless.
Yes, sir.
People give what they have. What he have is distraction. That's why he's given it. He cannot be quiet. When we're talking about lies, the only political person, a presidential candidate who went to the Yana and lied to him about an airstrip is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The only politician who went and told the Yuna that he was going to expand road from Savlugu to Bolga is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The only politician who went and lied to the Nairi that he was going to give him a university is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The only political person who went and lied at Cape Coast that they were going to give them an international airport is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. A politician who went to Palugu.
It wasn't an international.
No, you brought it. You described me as a. No, you. I'm not a guy.
Don't clutch at that.
No, it was.
Don't clutch. Allow him.
It was a campaign manifesto.
It was not a manifesto.
It is in our manifesto.
You are lying.
Look at.
You are lying. The Cape Coast promise was not in the manifesto.
It is in the manifesto.
No,
Saka.
it's not true.
Saka.
But you are not the only person who have the manifesto.
No,
We also have the manifesto. It's a
President
document.
Kufuor went back to tell them that no, that wasn't going to happen. He said it wasn't economically viable. He said that.
The airstrip he promised the Yana was manifesto promise. Even Nana Addo came out and told him they never promised an airport in Cape Coast. That was a lie. When he came to the Yana and promised him an airstrip, it is not in their manifesto, which is a public document. The manifesto is not your boxes that we don't know the color. We all have the document. We all have your manifesto. When he came and promised the Yona to expand the road from Tamale to Bolga, it is not in your manifesto. That was a lie, and it never happened. In fact, even if it was in your manifesto, that was a lie. It means you use your manifesto to lie to Ghanaians. So if we are talking about politicians who lie, please don't even talk about it, because you are immersed completely in lies, and you lost your election due to that. In fact, even when you were losing, your communication person came and said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has won the election already. Have you forgotten about that so soon? And you see, bless. Look, and the arrogance, you see.
So what is more lies than that?
You see.
Oh, but miracles did come out to say that.
Was miracles said that we were in comfortable lead?
Look, but I said if we had won the elections. Allow him.
Even Joyce
Bless.
was also saying
two statements commonly. You need even common sense will tell you in a comfortable lead is not conclusive statement.
It's comfortable.
From saying someone has won the
when
election.
someone is comfortable.
If I am leading, you can overtake me. That's basic English. Please come on.
No, if somebody says
if I am leading you, you can overtake me.
I agree with Dr. Peter on this one.
Clearly, no, he also know.
If somebody say I'm leading, it's even for
it doesn't mean you are wrong. It doesn't mean you are in a comfortable lead. Does not mean you
can lead someone who
I agree. He's a lecturer, by the way.
It doesn't matter.
He's a lecturer, so I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll come to your class.
So you see the arrogance Nanado was using the arrogance Nanado used to instruct chiefs to stand up and greet him. That's what he's exhibiting here. Respectfully, if you are on a program and you even disagree with a point made by your opponent, you write it down. You don't challenge the person as if they are no rules. Oh my goodness.
I wrote it first.
People are watching.
I wrote
please.
The lies.
Please.
Before telling you.
Please. In fact, when they were texting you and they were insulting you, I didn't like
Nobody insulted me.
They did. They described it in
It's not that you are inviting them to come.
I thought
no,
you were mistaken.
It's not that you are
What is the first time you've
It's not that you are inviting them.
So you agree with them?
It's not that you are inviting them to come and insult you.
Went to a meeting to disinform and disinform.
I didn't work for you. So look, bless His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, so far, so good, and we can say he's a blessing to the Ghanaian politics. Look, as a parent who used to buy rice, a bag of rice at the price of 750 Ghana cedis, I buy it at 450 today, and I save a lot of money. As a father or a leader of a household who used to buy cooking oil at the price of 1,100, which went down to 890, I now buy it at 550 Ghana cedis. I'm saving a lot. And when I go to fill my tank at the pumps, I pay less now in filling my tank than when I used to in the past. So I appreciate the government that will give me a better position to even save more money for other important purposes. Look, Fitch is not just coming to praise the current government for nothing. And the MPP at the time should accept that John Dramani Mahama did better than them when he came first. And his second term is even much more better than even their 8 years together. The 5 months is even better than the Nana Akufo-Addo's 8 years. Oh, Saka. Oh, Saka. Can you just be quiet for some time?
Intelligence will throw what you said into the dustbin. He hasn't even started giving money to MMDCs. And you are saying that they have performed better. What has he built? Has he built any road?
Let him.
Has he built any hospital?
Please conclude for me, then I come.
As if they were building. As if they were building roads.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We built over 12,000 kilometers of roads.
This same lies that sent you to position. All those ones were not able. You couldn't even verify any one of them.
Look at this. When we had a book that contained those.
Come to you see. I am
the blue book, or was that blue book?
No, white book.
Bless.
With pictures.
Bless. You see. I come and like him. I come from Tamale. Okay, and I know the failed promises of the MPP. And I am sure when Auntie takes up the opportunity to also, bring her side, the failed promises, they are even numerous. When they came, even Nanado himself, when he came to the Yana and promised him of drinking water, he came 7 consecutive times. They did none. In fact, at the point when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia came, he told him they were done with signing the document with the contractor. And within months, he was going to drink potable water. So you left power. Not even a drop of water in Yendi. your people. Saka, we are coming from cities. We are coming from places where you came to campaign. And you failed us. And we know what the NDCs offered us. In Northern region alone, you go to even Yendi, John Dramani Mama before he left, the man you were claiming he was not doing anything. He built a nursing school for us, from scratch to the end. You go to the Eastern Corridor, you cannot count the E-blocks that were operationalized before we left power.
Even the whole nation, how many were operational?
Not the whole nation, I'm coming from somewhere. I am telling you where I'm coming from, and I'm giving you an example of where I am coming from. When you say you constructed roads, where exactly?
Right.
So Saka, please. So Saka, please. Your poor performance. Just accept that you brought leaders who damaged your party for you, who failed in leadership, and I continually, even on this set, have stated that Nanado and Dr. Bawumia are the sin of the Ghanaian politics. In fact, at a point, chiefs were instructed to stand up on their feet to greet the president. A car was assigned, a chair was assigned to a car, fully air-conditioned, by the President of the Republic of Ghana. When workers were struggling, when poor people were suffering, and you think that the Ghanaians should give you another opportunity.
The car was
right. Thank you very much.
Chair. Is that the reason why nurses are going on strike?
Let's
You don't know the reason why
Let me also give that opportunity to
you want me to remind you the number of times
we do not have so much time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The time is taken by
Saka
interrupting.
Yeah.
Anyway, for me, Finch, yeah, don't, because what I have to say. For me, I'll just say that Finch has done a good job. I think that the government of the day, we've all seen what they have done to get Finch to give us those figures. If for nothing at all, I can say that transport prices have gone down, fuel prices have gone down. Some food items are now cheaper for us in the markets. We are also seeing that at least Ghanaians are beginning to have some hope. Investor confidence is coming back. We are still enjoying our peace and tranquility. Our tongues are more relaxed now. We can speak without fear now. So at least for me, not coming out with any policy is also policy by itself, you know, because sometimes I stay at home, not because I don't have anywhere to go or whatever, but I weigh what I have to go and do, and then I tell myself that, look, let me just save that money and go another day so that I can do much more things. So maybe that is what the NDC is doing. They are deciding to not do certain things now and put up everything together ready to roll it out. Maybe that's their policy, so we can't say that they don't have any policy. Oh, not doing is a policy. Not doing. When you don't even move, it's a policy. It is. You know, because when and Saka saying that people do not like to pay taxes.
Yeah, it's a theory.
You know,
it's a theory.
It's a theory, but you ask yourself, why is it that people wouldn't want to pay taxes? You say, would always want to pay when you can see something visible.
Exactly.
You know, but when you look at a situation where you're paying taxes and you're not getting any benefits, then you tell yourself that there's no need to pay taxes. And to think that you would think that your government did well, since this government came into power, all that we've heard from all public sectors is debts. ECG is owing, water is owing, cocoa roads owing, but for everywhere is debt. No, everywhere is debt. No, but you borrowed so much, almost $30 billion.
But NDC borrowed $4 billion.
But we could see. We could see.
Oh, so you haven't seen.
What have we seen?
All those things.
No.
The Agenda 111, the 12,000
which 111? How many of them did you finish?
kilometers of road.
How many? Which roads? No, he's asking me. I have not seen. You see?
Seen all this.
No, you see?
You haven't seen free SHS.
Free SHS. That's the worst. Look, that's the worst.
We're paying money.
I said, you see, you don't, you see, when things are visible, when you do things,
yeah, they are living there.
When you do
They're
things,
living
people
there.
don't have to ask you. Saka, you know, you don't
Go
have
to the police training schools. Go and see the number of Saka.
You see, the problem is always with the problem with the MPP is that somehow your communicators did not do a good job for you. That's a fact. Because you see, I don't have to ask to be shown by you where you have done development. Development should be out there for me to see.
At my doorsteps.
I should be able to see it and know that this is what...
You showed all those schools that were built. You didn't see
in the book.
Where?
In the book.
You showed them on television.
Your communicator, look, the problem you had, Saka, the problem the MPP had was exactly the same problem that the NDC suffered in 2016. Communication. Your communicators, first and foremost, you didn't motivate them, so they did not tell us what you did. As I said, I cannot pinpoint something and say this is what the MPP did. All that you were saying was free SHS, free SHS.
So
and I was...
You don't know that the STEM schools we've...
Which STEM school? The one STEM school that I have seen, because I use that route, is the East Legon, Shashi. I think that's on the Shashi route. That's next to the IOC. That's the one that I have seen. And I looked at it and I said, but apart from this, where else? And even that one.
Did you see the wager one?
Which wager?
Where?
The wager.
Which wager? Where? Which part of wager? No, you see, which part of wager?
Wager. I said wager. I said which part of wager?
Which part of wager?
I mean, it's wager.
It starts from Malam Market.
That's the problem I told you. That your communicators did not do you justice. Your communicators did not do you any justice.
Oh, but I live there, so I don't know
We even brought a tracker.
If it is true.
We even brought a tracker.
And the tracker shows a lot of
if you are interested,
we saw the tracker, and then we realized that
we have the MPP.
There are so many things that say you do. We trace and then we trace them, and then it wasn't there. Please conclude.
No, it's not. The whole thing is that
you say we didn't do well.
If for nothing, I would have. I looked and I saw. Oh, that's University of Ghana hospital. Oh, Bank of Ghana hospital. You understand? Oh, I can see this interchange. I can see that. Those were things that were tangible. You could see it.
Did you see which interchange?
Which Obechebilamte interchange? I read of the Obechebilamte interchange. John Mahama, I think the NDC got that flow.
Did you see the Kwabena one?
So look,
I don't get it.
Please, let's accept.
The Pokwasi
Saka, you left with CCC minus stroke C. That's all. Please.
Right.
Saka is describing the flyover as interchange.
You left with CCC minus.
Did you build some? Did you build flyover when you were
You know what that costs in Tamale?
I have just 4 minutes to wrap up. Ask Saka where the agenda 111, one district, one factory, one village, one dam, Akufo-Addo's government promised are. Well, okay. This one here says, "Bless. This is my 3rd time reading, sending you this message. Please read it. Good morning, Bless. Please, we can't afford the cost of BP medication. So, Saka talking like this on your show is not doing us any good. It's frustrating us." But you're a partisan, but you're also partisan. You are still partisan.
I know his BP will disturb him.
This one here says, "NDC man, don't argue with Saka at all. Don't you know the sort of person he is?"
He's my friend. So
okay.
They just came out today.
James K. Saba sent this one. Good morning, Pan-African TV. Please tell Saka to credit Ghanaians and viewers of this show some respect. Ghanaians like paying taxes, but if those taxes are being misused or some stolen, just like the NSS case and many other corruption scandals, do you think it is prudent to be taxed more, and at the end of the day, those taxes are not put to good use? I believe the so-called 12,000 kilometers of roads Saka and the MPP claim they constructed include Wuntumi's $45 million road contract. Foster from Kufu. Some of you have bad mouths. Yes. Yeah. No. He called Wuntumi a fraudster.
But his name is what? Froster.
I've forgotten.
What is his name? He said Froster from
he's not Froster. All right.
The government that enrolled one person 226 times on NHIS. Seriously.
Good morning, Pan Africa TV.
One person 220.
Please, I want you to ask Saka for me whether he can continue. He can continue like this. I'm disappointed in him, Dominic Mahime. Continue. I mean, the interjections.